Greetings, CATBC. Even though the new school year is fully launched, I know you are engaged in an ongoing process to figure out the needs of students and their families in this new and deeply challenging era. What are the pain points and how do you ease them? What are the barriers to learning and growth and how do you remove them? How can we support every individual to thrive? Anyone involved in school leadership should also be considering these questions connected to the educators, those who are really running the show. So today I'm joined by Karen Whitaker, a longtime supporter of CATBC, former teacher and administrator at the Branson School, and now a consultant with Carney Sando. Karen and I met in a CATBC ongoing group a few years ago for experienced administrators before my tenure as executive director. And for the second year running, she will be co-leading our cross-generational women's leadership group with Jennifer Christensen, also of Carney Sando, and Bijani Mazel, an English teacher and instructional coach at Marin Academy. Thanks so much for joining us today, Karen.
Thanks, Lisa. Thanks for inviting me.
You're welcome. As you talk with school leaders in California and across the country in your work with Carney Sando, what are you learning about the challenges schools and individual educators are facing at this moment? What are you noticing that's working?
Yeah, thanks for that question. I feel really privileged in my position with Carney Sando to visit and work with a wide variety of schools, mostly on the West Coast, but also across the country and occasionally internationally. And it seems that there's several pain points right now that most schools are grappling with, and these are not really new topics. I'd say the number one thing is diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. And schools are at very different points on their journey around these issues. And they're asking us to make sure that when we present candidate pools to the school, that they are deeply diverse pools, which is something we absolutely support. A question that I think needs to be thrown back to the schools is what are they doing internally in their cultures to make sure they're creating pipelines for leadership and also looking at how their own communities are feeling included and feeling a sense of belonging. That is a huge topic, and I think that's going to be ongoing for a long time. The other thing I've noticed, Lisa, in the last year or so is that schools that have really explicitly stated values seem to be navigating some of these difficulties with a little bit more ease. And I think it's because they provide a common set of norms or standards or vocabulary that allow people to work through difficult situations together. Whether those are, I'm working with a K-8 school that has the 5 C's that they all believe in, like courtesy and courage and compassion, and I forget what the other 2 C's are, or schools where everyone agrees to start from a place of good intentions or assuming best efforts. But I think when there's a shared conversation about what everyone buys into, there's an ability to navigate through these difficulties with more ease. And I think we've all spent time reading school mission statements, and sometimes they try to encapsulate so much that it's hard to understand what the real core values of the school are. And then I think a third thing I've noticed is that younger teachers who are coming on board or younger administrators are really asking for more boundaries around their work than I think was the ethos in independent schools in the past, where people just said, hey, I'm all in, give me some extra duties, I'll coach, I'll support a club. And now people are really, I think the pandemic has underscored this, they want to know what is my time and what is my professional time. And they want clearer distinctions between those two areas of life, and not to be working all the time.
That's so much wisdom in the younger generation.
Yeah.
There. And that's a good segue, I think, to this next question. Tell us more about the program you're offering with Jennifer and Bijani. What was its genesis and why this cross-generational focus?
Well, I think that I've learned a lot from Bajani over the years. She was my student at Branson many, many years ago. And then she came back and worked at Branson as a teacher. And then she was the freshman dean and the English department chair. And now she's gone on to work at Marin Academy. And I was always interested because I felt like we had a relationship where we were constantly learning from each other in our different moments in life. So I wanted to give back to CATDC because CATDC was very important to me when I worked in independent schools. I was a frequent flyer. I would always look to see what was being offered, and I would sign up and I would repeat things because it gave me such an expansive group of educators at other schools. And I felt like I joined a much bigger tribe outside of my school. So I was thinking about the women's leadership groups I had done in the past with Crystal Land and how important those were to me. And so I reached out to Bajani and Jennifer Christensen, who's my colleague at Carney Sando, because I think we bring very different life experiences and age experiences to leadership questions. You know, I have a child who's 27, Bajani has a little baby, Jennifer doesn't have children. We've come to independent school work from very different angles. And so I reached out to them with the idea that our combined wisdom and our different stages in life could be an invitation for other women to join that conversation. I think what we learned last year, we had a fabulous group. We had about almost 30 women in our group, and I've heard from some of them about continued connections that they've made and professional support that they've gained from that group. But what we found most valuable was a focus on shared values, going back to my point about healthy schools having shared values. We did a lot of values exploration and questioning values alignment with the institution where you presently work. And that seemed to surface a lot of profound questions for the members of the group. We also focused a lot on how to lead from wherever you are in an organization and build your leadership skills regardless of your title. And so I think those conversations and those opportunities to reflect and explore were really powerful for all of us, whether we were leading the group or whether we had signed up to be in the group. And we ended up having, as it evolved, participatory conversations and interviews and ways of helping each other at different points in the career arc. So that's what we hope to replicate: a values exploration, questions about alignment with work and how to lead and mentor and sponsor other women, regardless of where you are or what your title is. And that's why we're hoping to get a broad, a diverse, broad pool joining the cohort this year.
Sounds amazing. And just having been also in that one of those women rising groups with Crystal Land, and knowing how critical that was to the changes that I made in my own career and my own growth as a human being, as a woman. I just so appreciate how you are giving back to CATDC and these collaborative, generative conversations you're having with women, as you say, at various points in their own career trajectory, various points in their own personal lives. So what a gift you're giving to us through this program. So appreciate your time and energy and just getting to hang out with you some more as well.
Thank you, Lisa. I mean, you have such a great team at CATDC, and working with you and working with Kathy Aragon, it's just been so much fun for us, and we've learned a lot too. My only wish in parting is that I hope we can someday do these in person again. It makes such a difference when we can really get to know each other in a shared space, but the Zoom will have to do for now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll just say that the sense of community you were able to create in the Zoom was really, really striking to me. Thank you for that. I also look forward to gathering together in person. It will happen as soon as we can make it so. And to the larger CATDC community, we hope to see you on Zoom. We have so many ongoing programs to meet every different need of an educator in an independent school. So check those out. And Karen, once again, thanks again for joining me.
Thank you, Lisa.
Okay, take care. Bye, everyone.